Carlos Ramirez, owner of NBS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey and Daytona, Florida. So I get a lot of questions about how we build the amplifier mounts that we do in the tour pack. So I decided to make a quick video. It's a quick and simple process. It's reliable. We use plastic so that way if it gets wet it doesn't deteriorate. We mount it in a way where there's no way the amplifier can come loose, and we sandwich the plastic mount between the tour pack and the mount and the amplifier using nut inserts with a flange, so there's no way the plastic can strip out. So we've really streamlined the process, a real solid way to mount the amplifier, and it looks neat and clean. And the most important part, and that customers love, it takes up no space in the tour pack. So we actually stand the amplifier up against the back wall in the tour pack, and it literally takes up less than 10% of the tour pack space, so you still get your helmets in there. We normally do it with a 3000.1 or a 5000.1. The Cicada amp we do it with, the Sound Digital amp we do it with, we've been able to do it with the Hertz amplifier. Basically any amplifier that's can be up to 12 inches wide and up to 7-8 inches high will work. This works in chopped tour packs, and this also works in the King tour packs. On the King tour pack, you can fit a much larger amplifier, but the tour pack we come across 90% of the time when we're doing this is the chopped tour pack. It's the medium-sized tour pack. It's not the pancake slim one, and it's not the big giant one. It's the one in between, and then that tour pack has about 12 inches of height. So getting an amplifier in there that is 6-7 inches wide is a piece of cake. Here, I'll show you the steps step by step. Requires expanded PVC. You could use starboard too, but we use expanded PVC. You can use acrylic. Acrylic I wouldn't recommend because it tends to crack when you thread the screws into it. You could use polycarbonate, which is bulletproof glass. That threads beautifully and it's solid. But here are the steps. Requires just a drill, a screwdriver, Allen wrench, some threaded inserts. We get ours from Tim Nagy at Nagy's Customs, and some stainless steel 1024 screws. Check out those steps, it's nice and easy. Okay, so the amplifier is 9 by 5.5. We've cut our 1/2 inch expanded PVC, 9, 5.5. Now the tricky part is the back part, so the tether wire will clear. So that one we cut 4 by 7 5/8. And the reason we do that is we need to space the amplifier off the back wall and allow the tether to run along this inside part here when it closes. So you see there we have a little gap in the back to allow the tether to come down and park right here. So I bond the two pieces together with CA glue. This is what it looks like. I'll give you the measurements one more time. So it's 9 by 5.5, and then our back piece, you square it up to the corner, and it's roughly 4 by 7 5/8. So you butt it to this corner, which ends up being this side. Then this parks up against the square for the tether. It's important that the back side doesn't go above the tour pack. So you see that lip of the tour pack lines up with this, parks right up against the tether. This back side allows the tether to come in and park itself. So close. Now we'll go on to the other side. So on this side, we've marked the center. It's really easy to mark the center because you go off the seat bolt. The seat bolt's literally in the center of the bike, so seat bolt lines up with here. I like to use painter's tape. So I put the painter's tape right along the edge, and then I do another painter's tape. So now when you go to the bottom of the first layer of painter's tape, that lines up beautifully with the mount. And then I went about 1.5 inches to each side of my center line. So I'm gonna drill right here on the line of the painter's tape. So this is the first tape, second tape, right in between the two, that line. It allows me to make sure it's 100% even because I came to the bottom of the lip with the tape. So then I'm gonna drill along the bottom layer of the tape. There's no way it can be off because the tape's even across both sides. And then I use this edge as my reference point. So you get everything lined up. You hold your expanded PVC. I drill a very small pilot hole first. I want to go through the torque pack and the PVC at the same time. This is going to allow me to come in with my insert. So now I've gone through the torque pack liner, and the expanded PVC. So there's my pilot holes. So now I know that's where the screws are going to go. I can insert my inserts from the other side. That way when I bolt it together, this will sit flush in the piece, so I don't have to, the amplifier won't be pushed out at all. And then the machine screw will go from this side and sandwich the entire thing together. Okay, these wood inserts are 1024, and this stainless steel screw 1024 by 1 inch. You can get these at Home Depot. I actually get them from Tim Nagy at Nagy's Customs. So 1024 by 1 inch, 1024 wood insert. It was a 1/8 drill bit I used for the pilot hole. It's going to be a 5/16 drill bit for the insert. Now, when I put the insert, I want the flange to be on the amplifier side. That way, when I put the bolt from the back side, it sandwiches it together. The reason I like using these instead of nuts and bolts, it's going to sit flush to the piece so the amplifier could sit right on it without the nut pushing the amplifier up. Using the pilot hole to line up the bit. Blast all the way through. Now the insert will go in here like that. I use a 5mm T-handle to drive the insert in. So now I'm going to put a little glue, a little crazy glue here. The glue I use is 2-part. I'm going to spray a little activator in the hole. That keeps the insert from spinning itself out. Just a little bit like that. Expanded PVC is really soft, so this is going to thread in really easily. There it is. Now the other side. Make sure you don't get it inside the hole because it can give you a hard time putting the machine screw through it. There you go, both sides are done. Now we're going to use a 13/64 drill bit to open up our pilot hole to allow the machine screw to go through. we can line everything up. That one's in. Both screws are in. Now you want to close the lid. Make sure you did everything right. So if everything's done right, the tether is going to park itself right here in that 1/2 inch gap that we left behind it. Nice. Now we can go ahead, take it apart, carpet this piece, and then mount it back. Nice and simple, solid, reliable. That amp's not gonna fall or go anywhere. We have the entire assembly sandwiched together using machine screws. It's gonna be nice, tight, solid. And then the best part is the 2 mounting holes are covered by the backrest. Now the trick to carpeting this is the most important part right here, because that's the part that's visible. So what I like to do is I like to come over the front with a nice large piece, wrap it around the top, bring the sides in here, and then do all my cutting here, because it's not going to be seen when you sandwich it against the tour pack. So we're going to wrap it this way, tuck, wrap, bring the corners in, cut, and bolt it together. Okay, this is the material I like to use. It's called trunk liner. It's not carpet. It's made by the install bay. If you order it, you want trunk liner. Trunk liner is very stretchy and it has no backing. If you order black carpet, it's going to have the hard backing. It's made to wrap subwoofer enclosures so you can have sharp edges. Even when we wrap subwoofer enclosures, we still use trunk lining. That way it's easier to stretch, manipulate, like super, super stretchy and get around corners. See how it holds its shape? Makes it really, really easy to deal with. So you want to get yourself black trunk liner, not black carpet, black trunk liner, because it's going to be easy to work the corners. You'll see in a second. For glue, we're just using 3M Super 77, or you can use Super 33. So you want to cut the piece a little bit larger than your work piece, and then you want to make sure that when you fold it over, after you tuck, your cut edge ends up on the small block. The reason that is after you cut all your corners, you want to make sure that your exposed edge is going to be completely covered when you put it together. So it's going to leave the front of the piece completely clean. So you want to, looks like it's about 4 inches around all the sides. Also, I like to work on cardboard. This is a chipboard that we get from Uline. That way when I'm done, just throw everything away and I have a clean work surface. See, nothing fancy. So this is the area that you see, so you want to work on that first. You want to stretch a little bit. Lay it down in there. Bring the bottom around. Now this is the tricky part, working the corners. So I like to pull as I cut to make sure it wraps around the corner. Man, he loves watching me do this. He says it takes me like 2 seconds. So now I'm pulling it around the corner as I cut to give myself that nice edge without any of the plastic exposed. So I'm about a 1/2 inch in from the edge, and then I'm just pulling as it comes around. See that? So it gives you a nice clean edge where you don't see the plastic underneath. And all I'm doing is pulling and dragging the razor across. So when you wrap the piece, make sure your cuts are here. I cut along here, which left an exposed edge. So we're gonna start over, glued it, tucked it. Now I'm gonna make sure when I cut, I stay on top of the smaller piece. That way all this is finished. As you can see, it's perfect this way, and this piece can get sandwiched. So now we just got to work the edges and tuck these creases in. Josh wants me to use his carbon fiber tucking tool that he's so proud of. I personally like the metal one better if this one feels like it's gonna break. But he spent 40 hours making it, so he thinks it's cool. All right, there's the entire process of wrapping a piece. I have a little bulk built up here. I'm gonna cut through. There we go. So top edge is clean, inner edge is clean, and then when we bolt it down, let's go mount it on the bike. Now with the plate positioned, you don't see any of the white, you only see the carpeted area. Now we can go ahead and put the screws in after we remove the tape. Now that the mount is installed, the amp can be mocked up. See, nice and beautiful. Carpeted, amplifier fits perfectly, lid closes, tether's parked. Just gotta tighten these up and ready to install the amplifier. Nice, simple, weatherproof, vibration resistant, looks clean, gives you a ton of space in the tour pack.